All right, so I'm going to lead off on this segment talking about something that I'm almost certainly going to repeat at different points as people come in and out and ask the same old questions that people always ask. The first is that we're trying a couple of Quasiduplicates today. I've got a couple of growth spirals over the thought erasures, and I don't have any fast answers for you. I can't tell you with certainty that thought erasure is better, or growth spiral is better, or that Quasiduplicate is worth playing, or that Legion's End is good in the sideboard and it's better than Golden Demise that we'd played previously. I'm just trying things. In Magic, there's so many variables and so many different combinations of things that you can be doing that there really isn't a substitute for practice and hard work. You can theory craft a lot, but at the end of the day, you need to play games with the deck and get a feel for the ins and outs of things and how everything lines up. So that's what we're doing today. We're just trying out some different things. I'm pretty confident this is the archetype that I'm going to play in the... This is the archetype I'm going to play in the Mythic Championship qualifier a week from today, so I want to just make sure I try a wide range of things so I can get a feel for how different things work in the deck. Voltec, thank you for the 31 months, I appreciate that. I don't even know that it's just so much that trying things is scary, so much as that, like, people just, like, want someone else to, like, validate what they're doing, so they want to be told with some amount of certainty that, yes, you are making good decisions. Spark doubles, interesting. The reason why I'm kind of more into Quasiduplicate rather than Spark Double is because, one, Quasiduplicate can be gone past with Cavalier of Thorns, which allows you to jumpstart it from your graveyard. That was a really good draw. And two, what's the word that I'm searching for two? Do I disfigure this or do I wait and disfigure their next play? I think I just disfigure this. Two is that if you have one Yarok in play, you probably don't need a second one most of the time. So I feel like that's probably win more. Whereas like getting the second Risen Reef or second Elvish Rejuvenator or second Cavalier of Thorns is going to be more meaningful a lot of the time, I think. So I get a little bit punished for not holding on to the disfigure, but it is what it is. Yeah, Quasiduplicate turns other previously dead draws into useful things later on. Now, one thing that's definitely a knock against this card is that the mana base in this deck is pretty heavily skewed in the direction of... what's the word that I'm searching for? It's skewed in the direction of making triple green for Cavalier of Thorns, so getting double blue is not necessarily free. He says as he draws another Quasiduplicate he currently can't cast. That being said, this Cavalier of Thorns is probably about to get us some blue mana here. If we get to untap with this Yarok, they're probably dead. Like if this gets to double trigger this. Yep. I'd like some blue mana, please. Yep. And then... so... I just binned a bunch of Field of the Deads, but I needed to get my differently named lands, so I think this game's probably over at this point. We're at 14, and like next turn I'm gonna get to Quasiduplicate this and like find a bunch more lands and make a bunch more zombies. So like, I just have unlimited blockers at this point. Oh, I guess if I shocked that in, I could have Quasi-duplicated again. Oh, I could do it with this, though, right? I think there's an island still in my deck. Yeah, there's an island still in my deck, so I can do this. And Field of Ruin them. Hey, Regulus. Good to be back. Love your content, Jeff. Keep it up. I always go back to your recent videos on YouTube to catch what I've missed. I'm glad you enjoy the YouTube stuff. Thanks for keeping me around. I appreciate you re-upping that Twitch Prime support. The copy of Nexus of Fate seems more important than ever in the face of copying Cavalier of Thorns, huh? We just, like, milled through 20 cards this turn. Just like, no big deal. Like, sure, you kill all my zombies. How about the 5/6s? What are you gonna do about those? Yep, alright, thanks. Thanks for confirming you have made deck Legion's End, I guess. Alright, so I want to bring in all my spot removal here. I think we trim the growth spirals because they're kind of just filler. I think we trim at least one duplicate. I usually trim Nexus in the aggro matchups, but the inclusion of Quasiduplicate makes me second guess if that's correct. I don't know that I really like that game. Did I really need, and there's another thing you want to keep track of too when we're thinking about this is, did I really need the Cavalier of Thorns, the extra Cavalier of Thorns in that game? Or like, was I winning that game if the Quasiduplicate was like anything else too, right? I feel like this is a card for more of the mid-range and control matchups and like the other scape shift matches. I feel like I'd rather just have a bunch of removal spells to stay alive. Seeing sweet, all of our colors, a little bit of acceleration, some removal spells. Druid, thank you for the 20 months of Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Pick your favorite Doomblade. Yeah, this deck's a lot of fun. It generates... I watched the first couple matches he played with it, and I really agree with his assessment of the fact that, like, the Bandscape Shift deck is like... It's like red-green Valakuts level boring to play. It's very linear. You just do your thing. There aren't a lot of traditional magic decisions involved in it. And this deck plays a more honest game of like actual magic. I think the jumpstart half is very important, Trax. You can, because we have Cavalier of Thorns, you basically can draw the jumpstart half with Cavalier of Thorns. Hey, Top Toe, thanks for the biddies. Happy Saturday. Saturday morning, my kids go to ninja school, so Christy is there with them now. So I'm sure you'll see them poking around a little bit later if we run long today. Ninja school is a way to get tiny boys interested in gymnastics classes. It's what I would refer to as good branding. I'd fall for that too. Alright, so this game's over, right? Oh, yeah. If it wasn't over before, it's definitely over now. Papi! And we're done here. The Yarok animation's really good. I agree. Hanging out over here with my sweet haymakers. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. I don't know, Percy. I'm not sure, like, how exactly, like, your games are playing out in those long games, but to me, one of the appeals of this Yarok field deck is I feel like I get to go over the top of actual everyone. And, like, obviously they're games of Magic and you can lose anything, but I think one of the reasons to play this is you don't randomly get outgreeted. I'm going to lead on Arboreal Grazer on 1 here, because this way if I draw a 3-drop, we can play it next turn. Yeah, I agree, Wrench. I like this deck a lot more than the Scapeshift variants that have been floating around. How does it do against mountains? The people don't really play basic mountains anymore, so like you haven't really played that matchup enough to have a good feel for it. I feel like with our Yaroks giving lifelink and Assassin's Trophy to kill frenzies and disfigures as efficient removal, we're probably fine there, but I don't have first-hand experience to know that for sure. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. In case it doesn't get... I don't want to like swept away into Gates of Blaze later and not be able to gain 3 with it. Yarok not doing a whole lot here at the moment. It'll give us an extra scry next turn. Do Gates go over the top of us? I have no idea. Let's find out, shall we? I think I'm just gonna go ahead and trade here. Okay, if I didn't have another Yarok in my hand, I don't think I'd trade there, but like, with another Yarok in my hand and nothing to get value off of that with. Now that feels a little bit bad to have drawn that, but... I think my play is correct there at the time. Like I said, I would assume that we're favored here as these games go long, so just like making sure I don't randomly die to Gatebreaker Ram seems like a high priority. So I think I'm actually gonna wait to trophy them till their end of turn, because I'd prefer to not give them an extra land. So, obviously we're giving them a land now, but sorry, rephrase. I don't want to give them a 3rd land to work with during their main phase, so they can't, like, Gates of Blaze my Risen Reef, for instance. Hey, what's going on, base? Happy Saturday, folks. So I've got a lot of decks listed in the stream title there. I'm planning to do this deck as well as green-red aggro at a minimum, and then whether or not I play more past that is going to be determined by how many viewers we've got. Because it can be hard to estimate what the weekend viewer count will look like, so. Ooh, candy. I have auto-ordered triggered abilities off. I do. So let's do this. I want to do these first, I think. Gateway Plaza makes mana of any color for my opponent. I think I'm happy to leave Arc right there. And I think, They have to sweep next turn, right? So I think I just hold on to this. Morning, Jeff. I really get to watch you live because of my personal schedule, but I catch up on YouTube all the time. Glad I can watch live for a bit. Thank you for the very generous tier 2 resub raid-in. I appreciate that. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. Yarok plus Cavalier is basically Primeval Titan. It's very close. Alright, so I think I just put Yarok on top, right? Just like Yarok into Rejuvenator next turn. I'm gonna crank this up to 2. I think I want the Arc to just facilitate drawing cards here. Although Field's kind of appealing. Nah, I'm just gonna Field. Let's just make them have. I have a Memorial to Genius in play to draw some cards with. This means getting the second Field here means that, like, they have to have Gates Ablaze again or they're gonna die. Like, sweep my board again. Good luck, Godspeed.
No one knows the wilds like I do.
And now they almost certainly have 4 Gates Ablaze, so like we could just get Ablaze here again. If they go Ablaze into Cavalier of Thorns, we're gonna be behind. I'm almost out of gas. Okay. Is that enough to not die? So they block 2, and then they take 18, 19, but they life gain 3. All right, so they're dead to Assassin's Trophy off the top here. Hey, Elisa, thank you for the tier 1 sub there. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. And Dirger, thank you for re-upping that Prime support for the 2nd month. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday, everyone. Folks, if you're a new viewer, hasn't seen my stuff before, because I'm not often on the weekends, I stream full-time here on Twitch. I do a ton of Magic the Gathering. You can always find me here Monday through Friday from about 7 a.m. Central Standard Time till about 2 or 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, so Arboreal Grazer and Disfigure come out against all your matchups that aren't aggressive. Shifting Ceratop sounds fine to bring in. You basically want to bring in Shifting Ceratops against any opponent who might be unmortigoing you post-board, because we want to diversify our threats a little bit in case they take away our fields. I think Noxious Grasp is fine because they're a Vivian deck. They also have Gatebreaker Ram, which Noxious Grasp kills, which is nice. How's Quasiduplicate been? It's okay. I need the big thing with a card like Quasiduplicate is not determining if it's powerful, because when it does its thing, it's going to be powerful. The thing in my mind that I want to figure out is Quasiduplicate win more? Like, how often am I playing Quasiduplicate that it just, like, would also win me the game as another more consistent card? I think this is fine. I don't know if their Escape Shift deck, if they end up being a Field of the Dead deck too, I'll bring in Legion's End and Unmortigo for game 3, obviously, but we didn't see a Field of the Dead or Escape Shift out of them, so I'm not going to hedge that for now. Because I also think, in the off chance they are Escape Shift deck, I'm pretty okay in the Escape Shift matchup a lot of the time. An easy bottom Quasiduplicate here. Gonna lead on Temple of Malady here. Bottom the extra Yarok. Looking for things to trigger this, right? Would love to see a Risen Reef or what's it called? An Elvish Rejuvenator would be great to play next turn. Turn 3 play would be great. Scry looking for a 3-drop. Huh. I think that's good enough to keep. It's not the 3-drop I wanted for Christmas, but they're not being anything super aggressive here. I can play Yarok next turn and then, like, Field of the Dead, Cavalier the following turn and, like, get going. They're missing a land drop, so I'm going to decline trophying them here, because I'd prefer not to give them mana to interact with my stuff. So I can just take some hits from this and then, and like, get my if I get to double Cavalier trigger next turn, we're going to be in a very good spot. Sure. With this, with the natural Nexus in my hand here, there's a good chance that, like, next turn's their last turn, because we're just gonna have so many zombies. So much just overall. Wow, brutal. We missed on a land there, but we did ditch this Quasiduplicate, which is the upside again to playing that versus some of the other clone effects people have been asking about. This is the reason why we're playing this card, is you can run past it with this. So if I Quasiduplicate Cavalier of Thorns and get really lucky and hit 2x untapped blue sources, I can Nexus this turn by shocking this in. So I think I'm going to discard Memorial to Genius here. Alright, so we didn't do it. That's fine, though. I think I want to get this other Field of the Dead here, so that way I can rebuild faster after they sweep my board. Were they dead if I... Did I miss lethal? I might have missed lethal. Hey, morning, Jin. So do I want to attack like this? I think I'm just gonna pass. If I attack, if I attack, with everything, I'm just gonna pass her. I'm gonna hold on to this land because I want to be able to make more zombies post sweep. Hey, Eliza, thank you for the tip. I appreciate it. I'm gonna load my dashboard up here. Thanks for the YouTube content and for making me a better MTG player. Thanks for the support. I appreciate you keeping me around. Okay. So they're dead. I'm pretty sure they're dead. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm actually gonna wait to trophy them till my turn. And the reason for this is if I trophy them and give them an island, they could negate my Nexus of Fate, and I don't want them to negate my Nexus of Fate. They also just dead on board. They're also just dead on board, right? They go 3, and they're just it doesn't matter. Don't even need the Nexus of Fate. Still had all these. Now it's kind of a good showing of one of the reasons why the Gates deck's just not very good anymore. The real appeal to the Gates deck once upon a time when it was playable back in 5-set standard and during just GRN was because it could kind of go over the top of people. And there's just so many decks in this format that just go well over the top of the Gates deck. Just like the Gates deck isn't the biggest thing in town anymore. Yeah, I'm planning to play this archetype at the MCQ next weekend, Eliza. I'm not certain on all of the details, which is what we're still going to be figuring out. My plan is to play this deck for one of the decks that we're playing for Standard every day this week. I think the Gates deck could come back after rotation. Maybe. That's a really complicated question. There's a lot of factors that go into something like that. Looking for a blue source. I'm gonna bottom the trophy there, even though it's good in this matchup. Just want a blue source for next turn. Yeah, I agree, Jen. From a content producing perspective, Day 9 is like the gold standard. He's very good at what he does. If this hits a land, this is just verifiably our nut draw if we get a land here. No land, but still a card that's good in the matchup, I suppose. Scryland's really showing some of their power here with that Risen Reef hit. It's kind of appealing to Blast Zone, but I want to just get this Cavalier of Thorns down next turn. They have like a cast down or something here themselves. Main deck Noxious Grasp. That's, yeah, that's a choice. D20 Bandit, thank you for the 15 months. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday wherever you're at. When I stream non-Magic games, Bruno, I usually turn sub-only chat off because part of the reason why I go into sub-only chat for Magic is because there's a lot of people here and non-Magic games tend to have a smaller audience, so there's less clutter. Alright, so... how aggressive do you want to get? I think I'm gonna do this and this. And this makes them pay 8. And then next turn, I can go Rejuvenator plus Blast Zone. Which figure is a really good draw. I would love a lifelink creature on top of my deck. Yeah, I'm aware Cavalier has reach. I just didn't want to... I didn't really prioritize killing these inside of combat, because I'm going to kill them with Blast Zone here in a second. And Yarok will gain us 2 from this Jungle Hollow, which is sweet, because the way we lose a game like this from this position is my opponent burning us out with Sorin, so making it require 3 Sorin activations is huge. The Yarok will also be able to lifelink us back up a little bit, which is huge. Yeah, lands with utilities like that are always kind of hard to evaluate, Jin. This is one of those times where, like, we've actually been a little bit unfortunate this game in that we've gone through, like, 25 cards without any of our 4 Field of the Deads, but we're still actually okay because the rest of our deck is just, like, reasonable cards. Which figure did you want to dismember? This one right here? This one? It's a bad joke is the answer to your question. I'm kind of okay if they attack with everything here, right? What happens if they attack with everything? If they attack with everything, I take 5, 6. They gain 6 though, right? Yeah, I'm probably not okay with that. All right, we'll trophy it. In fact, if they weren't gaining life, I think I'd be okay with letting them attack, but because it gains them life, that's probably not good. And now they don't have good attacks, and, like, you know, Field of the Dead would be a good draw. Arch of Orazca is a good draw. Cavalier and Risen Reef are great draws. Quasiduplicate would be an absurd draw at this point. Well, I guess I don't have quad blue, though. Although the first Quasiduplicate probably finds me another blue source. Yeah, that's fine. I'm holding on to this land because it doesn't currently do anything when I play it, and it could do something more. Yeah, the fact that we didn't have a field in our top X cards means that our land draw actually isn't that good here. Hey, look, a Risen Reef. That one can stay right there, chat. I think I'm good with that one. Scryed top. Are you quaking? You should be quaking. Are you scared? You should be. I want to make sure I leave up double blue when I cast this, because this is very likely going to find me a Quasiduplicate. Look at that! Double duplicate, chat! I'm playing in a tournament today, and Nexus is banned. What would you replace it with in this deck? 1 copy of 4-mana Jace, probably. Nexus is probably banned in their tournament because the person running the tournament decided they wanted people to have fun. They said for time reasons. Well, Nexus of Fate isn't a time-consuming deck because you only get 5 extra turns in turns. Yeah, so like, and again, like, part of the thing to consider is like, we bin duplicates there and it was sweet, but like, we were winning that game without binning those duplicates, right? And in fact, I'm pretty confident I don't want duplicate in the aggro matchup. So it's like, a card like duplicate can be hard to advantage because it always feels absurd. But figuring out when it's not more ideal is nice. For Kawari, thank you for the 3 months of support. I appreciate you sending that Prime back this way again this month and keeping me employed here. What do I like more in Modern, Jeskai Tempo, or Jund? I think Jund is mind-numbingly boring to play. Jund is what I refer to as a point-and-click deck, in that every turn the correct game action is generally just play your most expensive cards you can. That makes sense, because it often won't help you stabilize, but it will help you lose. Yeah, exactly. Like, the games where you have one Cavalier and aren't winning with that one Cavalier are kind of few and far between, right? The fact that they have feature match tables at events with no video coverage is so funny to me. The games you have turn 1 Grazer against vampires with a functional hand, you're just like, this is not fair. Yeah, I'm in for more Rejuvenators. This list looks pretty sweet. I agree, Matt. Thank you for the 4 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I think I'm just going to keep them off of flipping the Legion's Landing this turn. I know I could play my Accelerant, obviously, but I think keeping them off of flipping Landing is more important. I want to choke their mana a little bit so they're not accelerating alongside me. This is a pretty good start for the opponent here. Do I plan on doing a sideboard guide for Yarok Field? Do you mean like the one that got published on Cool Stuff Inc. this week that you can currently find there now? A sideboard guide like that? Do I want the second black off Dismal Backwater? I think I want Field to kill this Legion's Landing eventually. I mean, to be fair, I've changed like 6 cards since that sideboard guide, which usually makes people ask if they can have a new sideboard guide. To which the answer is no, and that's why I frequently don't write sideboard guides. But in my opinion, you can use that sideboard guide as a loose guideline to understand what you should be doing here. That's true. In a technical sense, I am not planning to publish one. I remember when Jeff wasn't going to put standard decks on the website. Yeah, the person that talked me into that, I appreciate them. Thanks for the 9 months, PK Jeff. It's all an experiment. We make things based on business decisions around here. Business decisions based on data. I'm not playing out this breeding pool because I already have a breeding pool in play, which means it won't trigger Field of the Dead. So once I find an additional land, I'll be able to make a zombie with this. So I want to wait until this makes a zombie. I have a website. Yeah, magicesports.net. If you've never been to my website before, 100% of the content that I stream gets well organized up there. You can also find very easy selections of my favorite decks in both standard and modern in searchable, easy to find fashions. The Magic community is gracious enough to allow this to be my job, so I treat it as such. Make sure we have nice things like a website. No, not a problem at all, Liza. Easy treat here. Wow, you really had that URL. Listen. it's not like one of the fundamental basic things you should understand about web design is when you're buying a domain name, you should buy all accompanying domain names. That's a very complicated thing you have to have professionals working with you to understand. There's a reason. Listen, if I can barely afford the $20 extra a year to own jeffhoagland.com.org.net. How can you expect a multi-million-dollar organization with $1 billion parent company to buy all the Magic esports related URLs? That's just silly. Small indie gaming company. Those costs would put their budget over the line. And it's like, those little things like that are always the things that, like, make you really shrug and chuckle about WotC. Because it's like, it's not even like they're not doing the things that, like, because it doesn't cost them money. Because, like, I understand companies not doing things that cost them money. But, like, these things, like, are very minimal and just, like, you should be doing them. Yeah, I already have a breeding pool, and this one wouldn't make a zombie yet. This is why we've been holding Legion's End here. Because I don't really care if they're gaining 1 life per turn. Boppy! Alright, so we are going to make sure we leave black mana up so we can Legion's End after this happens. So you may exile it if you do so. I'm actually going to decline to exile my Cavalier here, because I'm not going to get the card on top of my deck because of its enter plays trigger, and this way when I draw another Cavalier later, that Cavalier can get back this first one. So this leaves a Cavalier in my bin for the next Cavalier that I draw. Now, worth noting, they have a Legion's End of their own in their hand. You'll notice I manually tapped there because it was going to tap my black source, and if I drew a black spell, I wanted to be able to cast it. You probably manually tap with this deck more than any other deck I've played on Arena, just because of the amount of playing off the top you do. So the auto tapper doesn't consider cards still in your deck. It only considers cards in your hand. Trophy sounds great. All right, so I'm actually going to draw this trophy and trophy their dork here so I can start pressuring them with these zombies to convince them that they need to burn their Legion's End. Yeah, there's also so many utility lands in this deck that the auto tapper's not very happy with those usually either. You're able to get what through my website, PK Jeff? Small interface trick here. You'll notice I declared all 4 of these zombies as attackers by clicking on the number 4 here. So you don't have to click on them all individually or like click attack all and then pull the Grazer back. Knowing the little tricks with how the zombie stacking works makes this deck a lot more friendly to play on Arena. The link to your sponsors is looking for a code for Inked. Jeff12 for Inked. I believe we have a command there. Do we have a command? Yeah, look at that. Inked Gaming. Are you saying the sponsors button in my info tab doesn't work? Is that what you're saying? I gave you an error. Well, I'm going to be a very typical programmer and tell you that it works for me here. Cannot replicate issue. Could you finish that draft? It's driving me crazy. All right. Third matchup against vampires here in Mythic. This hand's missing green mana, but green is our most common color land in our deck. And, like, I had these in a castable Disfigure, so I think this hand's a fine keep. If we find the first green source, the Rejuvenators help us find subsequent green sources. Issue closed, cannot replicate. Yeah, the Twitch mobile app is weird. It doesn't like certain URL types, but I don't even think that one's a bit.ly. I'm pretty sure it goes directly to my website. I'll have to try it on my Android device later. Are you using Android, or are you using an Apple device? Untapped green source is our best draw here, obviously. Oh, you know what? I should probably play the swamp there, because if I play the swamp, Woodland Cemetery comes into play untapped. Although I think the fact that we've missed a beat here probably means we're done at this point. On my Android, I can't sub-tier higher. Yeah, so in general, as a good heads up and just a good heads up for people, you should avoid subscribing through the Android app unless you're doing a Prime sub. So the subscription on the Android app costs $6 per month, and I don't see any of that extra money. You're just paying a premium to give money to Google Play or to iOS, because any money that goes through a mobile app, the App Store has to take a cut. So they don't offer the higher tier subs on there because the cut is higher. So you can do the higher tier subs from mobile if you load up the desktop version of my stream in your mobile browser, but it is a little bit awkward and tedious. Also never buy bits on mobile because there's a huge markup on them, just like everything else you buy through a mobile app. Hey, Ghosty, glad you're enjoying it. Nexus of Fate is banned in Best of 1. Designing clear and easy to understand user interfaces is not one of Wizards of the Coast strong suits. I think I'm supposed to keep that. How much is Prime in the US? I'm gonna be honest, I don't know at this point. It's gone up a couple of times in the last few years, but Prime is kind of like Netflix in that it's one of those things where unless they start charging me $1,000 a year, I'm probably just gonna pay whatever small amount they keep increasing it by. Oh no, I'm under duress. Second Lord here is really good. It's a lot of pressure. So I don't currently have triple green. Risen Reefs are gonna be chump blocking next turn. That gives me triple green, so that's nice. Ideally, you want to stabilize in this matchup above 6 because you don't want to die to double. Are we dead? I think we're dead. Yeah. Yeah, we're about to lose this matchup eventually, right? Can I go to 2? I think I'm dead no matter how I slice it. Madness, thank you for the 3 months of Prime support there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I mean, that's their whole business model, is they make money by making money through their app store. If I trigger my Field of the Dead and this draws Assassin's Trophy, we could live here. Or if that draws away, oh look, a Scryland, sweet. All right, so we need a way to kill the Sanctum Seeker. We need a cast down or an Assassin's Trophy here. Stacko, thank you for the 12 months of support. I appreciate that, or the 3 months of support. Sorry. Welcome, welcome. Okay, and we're dead. So that was the out there. Handouts. Our start. It's possible that the hand I kept there on the play wasn't supposed to be a keep. I think that's a possibility. Morning land drops. I definitely would have mulliganed the hand I kept there on the draw. I felt like it might have been fast enough on the play, but that might not have been correct post-board when I have a lot of good interaction to mulligan too. So we're 2-1 against Vampire so far. I think that matchup's a little bit ahead for us, but Vampire deck is also very good, so sometimes you just die. Thanks everybody for dropping in today. Remember, if you're a new viewer and you're enjoying the content, make sure you tap that follow button. Following the stream doesn't cost you anything. Let you know when I go live and with what. I am here generally Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Cornfield time till about 2 p.m. Cornfield time. We do a ton of standard and some modern as well every day. And I'm sporadically on the weekends and other times as my life permits. The Golden Oreo Mini. Thanks for checking in for the 7th month with that Prime. Welcome back. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday morning wherever you're at in the world. Or afternoon or evening or whatever time of day it is. Excellent Hearthstone hand. Unfortunately, this is Magic, so we need some lands to play. So let's go ahead and mulligan. Sure. What's going on, technically? I appreciate the quarter of a year. Welcome back. You keep advertising these cornfields, but we never see them. That's not true. That means you're not following me on Twitter. I'll share a picture. I don't blame you, because Twitter is crap, but I did tweet a picture of my cornfield somewhat recently. Another vampire matchup. I think I'm just putting this into play tapped. I don't think I want a trophy this turn. Disfigure is excellent. Sign me up for that one. So this, Christy and I moved at the beginning of the year, and this is the view from my second floor window. Right now, my bedroom upstairs. Just my backyard neighbors are not very loud. It's wonderful. They don't have a land. Okay, so we're really glad we didn't trophy them. I think I'm gonna, because they're bricking, I'm just gonna go ahead and Rejuvenator here and just like advance my game plan, use my health total as a bit of a resource. Because this trades with this. Actual factual cornfield, yep. So I already have a Temple of Malady in play, so I'm gonna play this Thornwood Falls so we can try and get these Field of the Dead triggering. Because the first Field of the Dead trigger probably wins this game. How far outside of town did you net then? Like, how long does it take to get to a grocery store? I'm less than, like, 5 minutes from a grocery store. We're technically still inside Bloomington. We're basically, like, we're almost the furthest edge of what's considered Bloomington. It's nice of them to play that pre-combat, so I know to disfigure that instead of disfigure this. Do I want to trade my Reef for a Marcher? I think I do. If I draw a Yarok, I'm really sad, though. "30 minutes from the nearest town to select store." Yeah, I like Civilization. It was also, for my job, when we moved, it was a requirement that we bought a house that had fiber internet still. Because while things like Comcast are technically fast enough to stream on, the reliability of those services is incredibly low. I wish we could play some matchups that where Quasiduplicate is good instead of boarding it out against all these vampire decks. So far, this is our 5th match today, and we've played 4 vampires and 1 Gates deck. Yeah, the amount you have to pay more for a business line is pretty astronomical, though, right? I remember looking into that at one point and looking at the price and being like, that's stupid. Because, like, my fiber internet is $70 a month, $75 a month for 500 down, 100 up. You pay 120 for 50/20. 120 is actually not too bad. Does that come with uncapped bandwidth as well? Hey, look, more vampires. Adam the Bomb. The word consistency gets thrown a lot. I think in your case, as a streamer, you really embody the word. I enjoy this chat and the meme on a regular basis. Thanks for the thanks for the 2 months of support, Adam the Bomb. I appreciate you keeping me around. Yeah, we have fiber in Bloomington. It's great. Always need more fiber in your diet. Oh wait, this is a post-board game. I said more vampires. This is a post-board game. We're talking, and there's just been so many vampire decks that, like, it's all just a blur. Yeah, before we had fiber, because of how my job works, I had to pay to have my line uncapped, because streaming on Twitch, you just, like, use over a terabyte every month when you're streaming full-time. This gets all of them, right? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. We hit an untapped green source, too. This game's over. Well, they have an Adanto Vanguard in their hand, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Worth noting here that I would not have been able to cast Golden Demise on my current lands. This deck doesn't have that many black sources in it. I think we tried Golden Demise. I think Legion's End is probably better because of the mana base in this deck. So I could wait to try and get a Risen Reef trigger off of this, but I think I'd rather just have my big blocker this turn and use all my mana. I'm going to grab Dismal Backwater here rather than the second Field of the Dead because these fields aren't triggering yet, so I want to start lining up differently named lands. So getting one field to trigger sooner is much better in this matchup than having 2 fields to trigger later. Yeah, exactly, Bob. I feel like at 17 with this board state, we're like pretty solidly into garbage time at this point. We also have a Memorial to Genius down here, so you can crack that and start drawing some cards next turn too if we just don't draw anything relevant. I want to say how good you become both at playing very well and explaining plays at the same time interacting with chat. I can't imagine how difficult that would be or how bad I would be at it. Yeah, and I mean, I have a lot of experience doing this, right? And even you'll see me make plenty of boneheaded mistakes having lots of practice. So I always encourage people to cut folks who don't stream full time a lot of slack. It's like, I do this literally, 30 to 50 hours a week as my job, and I'm not operating at full capacity, so, like, people who aren't doing it as a job are, like, nowhere close to full capacity. So, I have 4 mana up here, so I can actually Field of Rune this and cast down the Sanctum Seeker this turn, which is nice. Yeah, that's true too, what Bob said. I'm also fortunate enough for this to be my full-time job, so a lot of people are doing it after working a full day somewhere else. So they're tired on top of it. They dropped that post-combat because their 4th land came from flipping the Vanguard. We've been in garbage time for a little while here, but this might prompt a concession. Papi! And thankfully, even when people don't concede to garbage time against this deck, like, this deck hits the board and turns the corner so quickly that you don't spend much time in garbage time a lot of the time. It's like, alright, here's my squad, attack, attack, attack. Can we hit another match or two where Quasi-Duplicates are live? Please and thank you. This hand's not great against vampires, but I don't think you mulligan hands that are bad against vampires in the dark. Yeah, I'm gonna keep Trophy. Having a smidge of interaction in this hand actually makes it a lot better. Oh, I don't know what to do with my hands, chat. They didn't play a black-white land. Are we still playing standard? Did they add another format to this game? I'm confused. Blue-green vampires seems... What a strange line. What a curiouser and curiouser. Really hoping to find a blue land here. Perfect. So this way, if we brick on a land next turn, or brick on an untapped land specifically, we can quasi-duplicate this. Quasi-duplicate also gives us something really elegant to do with extra copies of Yarok, huh? Which is sweet. I already have triple green. Already have a breeding pool. Let's grab a Watery Grave here. Full Flame. Thank you for the 10 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Hey, good luck in the rest of your grind today, Avery. Good games. Yep. Confirmed ban Scape Shift. Not too surprising there. No, the MCQ is a week from today, Voltaic. I think I'm in for that. We're gonna like Cavalier of Thorns next turn. So I'm gonna do at least one more deck after this, Jace. Whether or not I do more past green red aggro is gonna depend on what the viewer count looks like. If we break my average of like 1,500 or so, I'll probably do one more, at least. But well, how much more I do is going to depend on what the viewer count is. Am I supposed to just play Yarok down again? Playing Yarok down again, like, kinda sucks if they have. If they have a, what's it called? So I already have a Temple of Mystery. But I already have 6 differently named lands, so does it really matter? Because Field of the Dead's gonna trigger when I find it regardless, right? I actually wouldn't mind drawing an untapped land next turn, because if I hit an untapped land, I can Yarok and then duplicate the Cavalier of Thorns.
Stand by and watch. I'll protect you.
Really, really glad that I elected to do this instead of this again. Good golly. Where are my Fields of the Dead, chat?
Now what?
Didn't realize how much I needed the Teferi rotation countdown. Hug the Aquilfer. Thanks always for the returns and thanks for the sub. I appreciate the 21 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. So I played 2 Elvish Rejuvenators this game, which put 4 cards, so we're through 33 cards without a Field of the Dead currently. Wow, that's unfortunate. Why not trophy their field? So, in my experience, the way we lose this game... In my experience, the way we lose this game is by my opponent end-step scape-shifting us. So, keeping them off of Teferi is a priority from that aspect. And, like, in general, we're not going to lose to them having a fair Field of the Dead. Like, our fair Field of the Deads are just, like, night and day compared to theirs. Yeah, I agree, Bob. Quasi's looked a little bit awkward so far. Here we go. Here we go again. Here we go again. Should have known, should have known, should have known again. Do 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 do. So like, I have 2 duplicates in my bin, so I think I'd rather just dig for a creature that's better than this. And like, remember, this is a game where we were incredibly unlucky and didn't have one of our 4X cards in the top, you know, third of our deck. Or top half of our deck, sorry.
Here we go.
Alright, so we're getting end-step scape shifted here. So the goal at this point is to make enough zombies that our opponent won't be able to kill us with their scape-shifted zombies. So we're hoping to find that 4th Field of the Dead here, and then we'll quasi-duplicate onto the, onto this again. How many zombies do they make when they scape-shift? I don't know. I'm not doing the math. It's not my job to figure that out. And remember, I'm effectively at 19, although I guess that's not strictly true, because they can bounce my Yarok. Yeah, they're gonna make a lot. Now, we bottomed our 4th Field of the Dead at one point this game. So, if we manage to find it, we're gonna loop back around. I tagged you on Discord to look over a list of legacy I'm testing for the Syracuse Open. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at that later too, bruv. These aren't lethal, so I think I just want to pass here. Prime subs are identical to tier 1 subscribers in every single way, shape, and form. In fact, it's one of the reasons why Twitch is the premier streaming platform. Because Prime is free extra money. So yeah, if you're a Prime sub, be sure to hop on into the Discord. Welcome. Dr. Gifts, thank you for the very generous tier 2 sub. Disappointed in no weekend polo. I might have been cutting the lawn before I came out here, so... Oh, wow, they don't have Scape Shift. So... Oh, they could still have Scape Shift. This is an untapped land. These are untapped lands, huh? Okay. Do your thing. Oh, you know what? I messed up. I didn't play a land for the turn. That turn. And I totally could have cracked this and had 6 more zombies. Alright, so if 6 more zombies would have saved me here, if 6 more zombies would have saved me, I could have lived. Is cutting the lawn a euphemism for something? It's like barely grown recently. It's been so dry here. It's actually kind of funny. My lawn that's in the shade of the house during the day managed to grow, but everything out in front was, Oh, I could attack with Yarok and play a second. I think I should have drawn trying to find a land there, is what I should have done. Alright, so they made 44 zombies. And I have 32. I could have had 38. Yeah, I think we're gonna die because I didn't... I guess there's no guarantee there's a land under this. The fact that they can bounce Yarok might be the thing that lets them win here. Yeah, I could have had 6 more zombies here. They could also just have Deputy Detention on top of their deck, and then it doesn't matter. They didn't bounce my Yarok. Okay. So, click, 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 click on their 45, and it's gonna block 1-1 here. So, hope I live. Who's excited for this game on mobile someday? I lived at exactly 3 because they didn't bounce the Yarok. Shishisha! Alright, alright! We did it! Mushman, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. On the counter upstairs, I think.
I just looked there.
Maybe in my shorts upstairs.
What the heck is this? What the heck is this? Which shorts were you wearing?
Yep, I could have had 6 more zombies last turn and 2 more life. I could have had 6 more zombies and 2 more life.
I have a plan.
So they punted by not bouncing the Yarok pre-combat, but I punted by not doing this the previous turn. All right, so am I dead? I'm probably dead here. I think we start by drawing a card so we can start making choices with the most information available to us. All right, so we do this. And then we do this, which does this. We're not dead on board, which is all you could ask for. We're not dead on board. Chat, this has reach and this has reach and I'm at 3. We're not dead on board. 24 zombies, go. We're dead to a variety of things, but we are not dead on board. Every bit of the buffalo, used every land there. All right, we're dead to that. We're dead to that. All right. Good game. If we'd have found field a little bit sooner there. All right. Take a 10-minute timeout, because I definitely wasn't dead on board. Oh, we were dead to Blast Zone. There you go. There you go. I think we were dead to Blast Zone. You're right. I'm going to let the timeout stand, though, because they didn't include that detail. Tefri was at 2, chat. Tefri was at 2. So you can take a 10-minute break. Pew pew! Sha-sha-sha! All right. Would I rather have Noxious Grasp or Growth Spiral? I think I'd probably rather have Noxious Grasp. Why did we add Quasiduplicate? Because someone gave me money to do so, and it seems sweet. I think the Quasi-Duplicates are win more, but like this is the type of matchup where the Quasi-Duplicates are potentially good, so I'm excited to play it and see how they feel. I think Death Sprout is playable in this deck. Yeah, maybe. I could see that card being okay. I saw Manfield playing that in his Sultai Scapeshift deck, and it seemed interesting. Does Death Sprout only get basic lands? Because the fact that we only have 3 basics might make that a little iffy. Alright, so we're not going to have a problem finding our Field of the Dead this game. Oh! Black. We can't cast a black card. So not only is it basic lands, but we can't cast a black card in this deck consistently. That's part of the reason why I cut Golden Demise from the sideboard. This mana base, as constructed, only has 11 basics in it. Or only 11 black sources in it, sorry. So casting black cards consistently is tough. Could you spell that out for me? Is it Shishisha or what? When I want to use that on my friends, they would definitely laugh. That's something that, is it Dale Gribble used to say on King of the Hill? I think Dale Gribble is the name of that character. I think I'm in for a 3rd green source. Sounds good. Rusty Shackleford. Yeah, Rusty Shackleford. Sorry, apologies. Give him the pocket sand. Shishisha. I think we have a pocket sand command. I'm pretty sure there's a pocket sand command. That seems like something we would have. Looks like that's the case. Oh, I clicked the wrong card. That's embarrassing. I intended to Unmortigo there, but all right, here we are. So, you know, grab the wrong free. It's fine. Still advances the board. That's fine. You can maybe even make an argument that it's not ideal to play it there because they're holding up a counterspell potentially. So, you know, there's that. They're still going to be holding up a counterspell because this puts lands into play untapped. Wow, that just resolved. All right. The way this ended up working out actually works out pretty well for us since, what's the word that I'm searching for? So they have 1 deputy, 2 deputies. They have 2 deputies, they have some Krasis, and they have a white finale in their hand. So the way it ended up working out, it actually lets me quasi-duplicate the Rejuvenator this turn as well, which is elegant. Were there 3 deputies? Good eye. So they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana currently. That's a good one. All right, Quasi-Duplicate was like pretty okay here, huh? Anything that's not a good utility land will bottom here. And they pack it in. Pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the fact that you can like draw this with Cavalier is a big deal. Yeah, and we haven't gotten to Quasiduplicate or Risen Reef yet, which is exceedingly good, right? We're on the draw, so I'm going to keep this. I'm going to Scryland as well. If we get a black source, the hand is great. If we miss on a black source, we can still cast a Risen Reef with any third land, so... sounds wonderful. In. Oh, you know something I didn't take note of when I peeked at their deck a second ago? Did they have counter spells or Veil of Summer in their deck? Is anybody paying attention? Yeah, that's exactly why there's a Nexus of Fate in the deck, is so we don't deck ourselves. Because Yarok plus Cavalier bins a lot of cards. Yeah, I scrolled quickly and I wasn't paying attention for it. What? I could guaranteed ego this turn, but I think I want to just try and get ahead while they're stumbling. Trophy sounds great. Win Spinks, thanks for the 2/3 of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, they played that because they were going to discard to hand size. Wow, speaking of discarding to hand size, guess I should have bought him the trophy, huh? Oh. My sweet summer child. Uh-oh. Oh, no. I have to discard 3 cards. I guess we'll discard a Yarok, a Rejuvenator, and a Nexus of Fate. I like how both of our decks are on just like 29 lands and neither of us can draw any of them.
Right on schedule.
Wow, are they really bouncing that one? Is that, there's no way that's the play, right? Oh, okay, this makes sense, got it. Got it. Alright, so there's a land. So, they've made enough land drops at this point that I want to cast Ego this turn, I think. And let's name Fields of the Dead. So they have Finale, Double Scape Shift, Opponent's Library. Do they have any counterspells? They have Aether Gust? Is that it? It looks like Aether Gust is it. So I know this is gonna resolve later. So there's no reason to play it aggressively now. Just gonna use all my mana and play this Cavalier of Thorns. What do we cut for the duplicates? Growth spirals. They're growth spirals and a Tameo in the other list, Bob.
Don't worry, I got this.
I'm not. They could be thought erasures too. I don't know. Dealer's choice. They could be either. Yeah, if we take Finale and Crisis, they basically can't win the game anymore. That is correct. Legion's End cannot exile Deputy, for people in chat that are wondering on that. That, however, can deal with the Deputy. Whenever people put my Enter the Battlefield cards underneath Deputy, I always want to be like, did we think this through? Did we think this through? So if I take the Hinterland Harbor, I can trophy them this turn. I think I'm actually going to take the Hinterland Harbor so I can trophy them this turn. Well, Bob, if I don't trophy them this turn, Bob, they're gonna get to Teferi bounce this and exile my zombies. Well, I can kill them in next turn. So like by taking the land, they're dead next turn. They like have to draw Deputy or they're dead. But if we kill them, the game stops. That's actually a strong reason to let them live. You get to continue drawing cards and doing stuff. I'm glad Bob is here so he can say the things I want to say. Oh. This also, like, gets our deck pretty trim here, too, so there's a good chance we just, like, take all the turns next turn. Yeah, they have Hydroid Crisis and one copy of Finale, is how they win post on Mortigo. Wait, what? Did that just happen? Did they just make 3 2/2s as... What? Are we done here? I feel like we're done here. They Crasist for 1 because they were missing land drops. We're going to have to discard to hand size. Vampires is basically the new White Weenie. It's like White Weenie that gets to play Reach. If opponent is a player of honor, they will sack all their lands to scape shift and concede. They might actually be doing that. They're floating a bunch of mana here.
You show remorse, I'll show restraint. Let's try this.
I mean, Vampires also has a card draw engine. All right, we're gonna play one more with Yarok Field, and we're gonna slide along to green red aggro. Thanks everybody for dropping in today, by the way. If you're a new viewer who's here on a Saturday for the first time, I normally stream during the week, Monday through Friday, about 7 a.m. till about 2 p.m. Central Cornfield time. You can find lots of my content on my website and my YouTube channel, very well organized in both places. MagicEsports.net for my website, youtube.com/Jeff Hoagland for the other. I did verify the cornfield, for those wondering earlier. Someone challenged my central cornfield claim, so I had to post a picture of my backyard. Have a good one, Regulus. Catch you Monday, hopefully. Yarok Cornfield. Yep. Really looking for an untapped land tier on 3 to play the Rejuvenator. Hey, look at that. A non-vampires matchup. Sweet. Teamer. Oh, Teamer Elementals. Okay. That was the perfect draw. Oh, you know what? Playing Risen Reef here is probably wrong in the face of Teamer Elementals because they can Omnath it next turn. If they don't Omnath it, I have a pretty high upside, but I don't know. A second Reef, maybe it's right to just ship it and make them have the Omnath. So the primary reason to play Quasiduplicate is because Cavalier of Thorns puts cards into our discard pile, which basically means Cavalier of Thorns can draw Quasiduplicate. Is the real appeal there. Now, I already have one Field of Dead in play here. I'm going to offer this trade because mine's already drawn a bunch of cards, so as you will. So next turn, I have 6, 7, and this can get an untapped land, so I technically have 8. So I can potentially trigger these Risen Reefs 6 times next turn, which is nice. Very nice. Oh no, not Nissa. How could I ever beat the powerful 5-mana Planeswalker? Oh no. Okay, that's kind of hot. All right. I like the Risen Reef is a sweet Magic card. Risen Reef is a sweet Magic card. This deck is going to be intact post rotation. Yeah, the mana base is going to look different, but the core of the deck will still be there, Bob. Looking for any untapped land here. Yikes. That triggers my field at least, right? Yeah, sweet. Okay. Alright, getting zomboys and girls here means that we should be pretty far ahead. It stabilizes the board a little bit. Now they're likely a 6-mana Chandra deck, which notably doesn't kill our Risen Reefs and their elementals, but does kill the zombie friends. So next turn we'll be able to go Reefer into Cavalier, trigger, make some go wide, draw a bunch of cards. It'll be 6 Reef triggers potentially. Yeah, we basically just need to make sure we don't die to Omnath, is what we need to have happen here. So, I feel like if we survive their next turn, we're probably winning, because we're going to put a lot of zombies into play this turn. We currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. This is probably going to give us a 10th mana. I guess it's not guaranteed to be untapped. Ring doorbells are on sale at Costco. Yeah, I remember. I wanted to look into that. Thanks for the heads up. So let's lead on this. Sometimes get the vibe that I shouldn't be here and wanted to ask you about it. Listen, I have no problem with people who have conservative political views. My problem with people that I take cause with is when people support a person who has 24 credible counts of sexual harassment and assault of varying levels presented against them, and says things that stoke very racist and white nationalists in the United States. Those aren't conservative things. My problem with Trump isn't that he's a conservative. My problem with Trump is that he's a racist and a bigot and a rapist. That's my problem with Trump. I don't like all of the Democrats. Like, I would prefer if Joe Biden wasn't president either. I would much prefer one of the progressives, but Biden at least isn't, those things I just listed about Trump. So I can respect people that, are supporting him because at least he's, closer to the realm of a reasonable, decent human being than anything Trump will ever represent. I don't think I want to Quasiduplicate this turn, though. I think I'd rather Disfigure, so that way I can kill one of their elementals. Yeah, Trump is not a conservative. That is correct. Yeah, we have one copy of Nexus in our deck, so we don't deck out by mistake. I have more than enough zombies to kill them next turn. There's a good chance a lot of these Neoform builds don't play Chandra in the main, so if they don't have a Chandra, they probably don't have any outs here. That's a great way to put it too. Yep. Yep. So they do have Chandra in the main. This gets them out of being dead on board.
I've got other things to burn.
So the zombies go away and everything else stays because they're all elementals. The Quasiduplicate's actually looking pretty okay here. We're going to get to duplicate a Cavalier of Thorns next turn. Do I disfigure Risen Reef in response to this? I feel like I do, right? Because they're probably getting a Yarok. They get Cavalier of Thorns instead, that's fine. I built the deck, but I can't add Nexus. It's grayed out and saying the card's banned in Standard. Yeah, Wizards of the Coast isn't very good at designing user interfaces. So Nexus is banned in Best of 1 Standard. It's not banned in Best of 3 Standard. All right, so what am I discarding to this Quasiduplicate? Is it just Overgrown Tomb? I think it's Overgrown Tomb. If we draw, I'm gonna get an untapped land here because I want as much mana as possible. If we draw a Nexus of Fate, we can cast it and probably kill them this turn. Yeah, I agree, Taddeo. And something I've talked about on stream in the past is, to a degree, I feel bad for people who are actually conservatives in the United States, because the only conservative party in the United States has been co-opted by Trump and friends. Like, they basically don't have a party anymore. All right, so I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mana. So I think I start by casting Growth Spiral here and see where we end up at, because I could still hit Nexus. All right, so I'm probably just trophying Chandra, right? Is that the play? Otherwise she cleans out my zombies again, and that's not good for me.
You're gonna be sorry.
I just need one turn with the zomboys and girls. So if I play this, if you watch the Democratic debates, there are definitely conservatives on that stage. Yeah, I agree, Nomcover. There are a lot of people that are running in the Democratic primary that are definitely very close to center, or right at it, depending on who you look at. Punt Count Infinity, thank you for the 38 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. That's a good suggestion, White Sticks. Yeah, I agree, Evan. What's left? All right, so I probably want a bunch of Noxious Grafts because it kills Yarok. It kills their other Wild Growth or Risen Reef. Arboreal Grazer doesn't really block anything too profitably here, so usually I trim that in these more mid-range matchups. I was like, the kids are being really quiet upstairs. I wonder what Christy's doing with them. And she just sent me a picture on Facebook that they're bowling currently. And I was like, oh, that explains why they're quiet. They're not here. Everything makes sense. I think I just clicked submit. I don't think this is a Ceratops matchup. I think I just want the grasps and the trophies. I'm gonna leave some Disfigures in because they kill the Risen Reef. They're Risen Reefs. This is definitely like a peak Quasiduplicate matchup, so if it feels good here, maybe it's worth keeping. I don't know. I think the duplicates probably win more overall. Absence of noise equal, yeah, correct. When you can't hear what they're doing. Jacob's really funny. So Jacob's my older one, he's 5, and he understands when he's wants to do something he knows he's not supposed to do, we shouldn't be watching. So like when he wants to do something we've told him he's not allowed to do, he'll like tell us to like close our door or like go downstairs and be like, Daddy, you should go work in your office. I'll be like, all right, what is it that you want to do that you're not supposed to be doing? It's like, he like half gets it, like sneaking around. I'm like, come on, kid. Come on, they're so... Oh, kids. Oh, kids. Yeah, honestly, I grew up thinking I was conservative, and then, like, in 2016, I voted for the Libertarian candidate just because Illinois is a blue state, that my vote gets counted towards the Electoral College for the Democrats anyways, and, like, the idea that less government is good is, like, really novel, but then you realize, like, neither side is for less government, really. Like, the Democrats want to spend money on, like, healthcare and college, and the Republicans want to spend money on war. So it's like, if they're gonna spend my money anyways, I'd much rather it get spent giving people healthcare and college than, like, you know, doing terrible things in other parts of the world. That's the old root-bound crag Watery Grave. Our mana base looking a little bit awkward. I'm probably gonna field them this turn just to get another green source, because we're only at 1 green out of these triple green cards. Pretty Reiki, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. There's a lot of great people on Twitch. Thanks for supporting my content this month. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I agree, Crazy Chimp. And that's one of the things to call it like it is and praise the Republican Party where they deserve it. The Republican Party is very good at appealing to single issue voters. They are quite excellent at, like, telling people, you know, we stand for this, and then not actually following through on it so they collect the votes. Did they not have a basic last game? I think they didn't have a basic last game, so I'm gonna do this aggressively. I don't remember. Yeah, taking them off their black source. If they have basics, they almost certainly don't have a swamp, because they're like just like Temur Yarok. They don't have any basics. Sweet, Stone Rain, you go. And, like, I wanted to do that to fix my mana anyways, so this seems fine. So, if you're someone who doesn't want rotation to happen, Historic is the format for you. Historic's gonna be sweet. That was an untapped land and a 3rd green source, so sign me up. The idea that small government is good is something that's put forth by people that don't want to pay taxes. Being a libertarian sounds great until it's your house that's burning down and you want someone to put the fire out. From an idealistic standpoint, it sounds really nice and novel, though. Small government is great when you're rich. Yes. Yep. I'm getting another Cavalier trigger here anyway, so I think I'm just gonna grab this Simic Guildgate. Start triggering these fields. That's true, Miss Landrops. I think there's a good, I mean, for people that don't remember our history, like, Modern didn't have that much support at the start either. It's just people really wanted something to play, so the players took it upon themselves to play it. I just don't understand why that's the line. Why are police and firemen the line and not, like, educating people? I don't know. Yeah, I agree, Nifty. I agree. The flip side of that, though, too, is that an educated population can make better informed decisions. There's a reason why you'll frequently hear that colleges give people a liberal bias. And, like, when you really think about it, you're like, oh, people who are educated just tend to vote liberal more often. Sure. There's a reason for that, why people who are more educated tend to be more liberal more often. I agree. That's one of my favorite quotes. Reality has a liberal bias. All right, so I think we're gonna witch figure this one. It's good. It's good that we got into one of these conversations on a Saturday. There's probably new people here that haven't heard me rant before, and it's good to let them know what they're getting into just ahead of time. Yeah, so thoughts on this. We're gonna play, so if you enjoy this deck, we're gonna be playing this deck every single day this week, except I'm taking tomorrow off, but Monday through Friday, this is gonna be one of the 3 standard decks that I play. I think Quasiduplicates probably win more. After playing those games, I'm not sure. This card's generally only good when you already have a thing in play. And, like, you usually don't need a second Cavalier of Thorns. Now, that being said, Duplicate alongside Risen Reef and Rejuvenator did feel good. But I think a big part of the problem with this card in this deck is the types of matchups where this effect is good are matchups where we're already favored. Like, I feel like part of the appeal of playing this deck is basically no one goes over the top of you. And I feel like this is just another card that, like, is good in those places where we're already good, basically. So I think I'd rather just have more growth spirals or thought erasures rather than that. So I think next time we play this, I'm probably gonna go back. You're probably gonna see me split what I play this week in terms of growth spiral and thought erasures to try and figure out which of those 2 drops I prefer. And then I've got one more slot in the main deck here, which could be almost anything. One conclusion out of the sideboard that I have is I think the Legion's Ends are probably better than the Golden Demises, just because casting black on 3, even 4, 5, and 6 consistently is tough because there's only 11 black sources in this mana base. So for the time being, I'm gonna throw a trophy in the main and, like, add a Disfigure to the sideboard, but something close to this is probably what we'll play on Monday. I was wondering, Teferi rotates out in less than